You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You know what you are? You're a popcorn salesman.
Worldwide Sports Radio presents the Home Stretch.
All right, let's hit the field.
With Tyler and friends.
Hello! Yeah, that felt nice. Welcome to the Home Stretch. I am your host, Tyler Harrison, along with Speedy Petey, my slashing producer slash co-host slash statistician slash hobbit. I don't know.
Hobbit? That's a new one.
Trying to be creative. It's not really working. It's hard to do the slashes because...
So you had a frog in your throat last week, now you got a hobbit?
Mm-hmm. When you kiss a toad, you normally turn into a prince. I don't know what happened, but it's fun.
Maybe this time you turn into a hobbit.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so a lot to get to. Recapping the national championship game last night as Joe Burrow and the LSU Tigers are national champs. Kudos to you guys. Coach Ed Orgeron deserves a ton of credit. Absolute ton of credit. Gonna bash USC for letting him go.
No, not the brightest.
Nope, very bad idea. That's number one. Number two, we're going to bash, I don't know why, Odell Beckham Jr. is in trouble again, but I'll defend him.
He's in trouble?
Yeah, people have a problem with him handing out money to the players. Mm-hmm. Which is ludicrous to me. But anyway, that's one. Two, we're going to have a serious conversation to start the show about Antonio Brown because this is no longer a laughing matter. Also, we are going to recap NFL weekend. That's right. The championship games are set. Kansas City will take on the Tennessee Titans at Arrowhead, and the San Francisco 49ers will take on the Green Yard Packers.
Green Yard?
Yes.
That's a new one.
Well, they didn't get the yard, so they have to get it somewhere. But we'll recap. We're probably not going to review because then what's the point of doing a show Friday? But there's a lot to get to. Plus, I don't know if I'm going to get to it today, but I definitely want to talk about Conor McGregor's fight on Saturday. That's it. Jeez. Well, no, because if you listen to him talk, I think Conor McGregor has figured out what was wrong with Conor McGregor. So that's interesting.
Don't worry, we have the biggest Conor McGregor hater on the network, so he probably knows the answer to that.
No, I think Conor McGregor told everybody. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then watch the interview on ESPN+. Plus, that's neither here nor there. We're also going to talk about the NFL officiating because this postseason and this regular season, the NFL needs to overhaul it. I don't know how you're going to do it, but it needs to be fixed. There has to be something fixed. I think I have a solution. And the big story, because it's now grown into something a lot bigger today, the Major League Baseball punishment of the Houston Astros is the lead story today. To get you updated on this we'll do around the world in sports. But now Alex Cora is also out in Boston. He is no longer the head coach or manager, whatever the word you want to use is, of the Boston Red Sox. And I have to tell you, it's a giant. It was common sense to me. And also, after reading what I've been reading, the Boston Red Sox are going to get penalized probably worse than the Houston Astros.
And I agree with that, too, being that they used a replay room. There's a lot more technology in there.
Hold that thought. That's the lead. I promise you we'll talk about it. But we do have a tradition on this show, being that I'm the only one ever here. I generally do it. And for the life of me, I thanked everybody for letting me be the only show on the network that actually gives you the scores of today's games. I still have a cough, but the frog is gone. Ribbit, ribbit. Oh, there he is, little bastard. So there's no golf. There's literally just hockey, college basketball, and basketball. So we're going to switch things up today, and we're going to do basketball first.
NBA first?
Yes.
Nice.
Basketball first. Not really a lot to choose from. As the Atlanta Hawks and Phoenix Suns, the Atlanta Hawks leads 52-45. There's about 2 minutes left in the first half. The leading scorer for the Phoenix Suns, I'll let you guess, it's Devin Booker with 15. DeAndre Ayton's actually having a nice game with 10 points and 4 rebounds as he looks to continue a pretty good second year in the league. I was going to say sophomore, but I didn't know if it was true. The leader for the Hawks is Trae Young with 11. Kevin Huerter has 8. Damian Jones, Golden State standout, has 9, along with DeAndre Hunter, rookie from Virginia. The Brooklyn Nets are trailing the Utah Jazz 51-45. Rudy Gobert has 11 points, along with Jordan Clarkson, who's really played amazingly well since getting traded.
And they're undefeated since his trade, too.
Yeah, he's really been something special. He's playing how he played in L.A. with those couple of years with Kobe. But are you clapping for me? Oh, there's clapping outside. I thought they were clapping for me because I know I deserve it. I'm just kidding. But Kyrie Irving leads the Nets with 12, and no one else has more than 6. John Allen and this guy, Rodimus Kurucs? What?
I don't know. I don't know who he is.
Me either. He's a Lafayette forward. That's all I know. But Utah Jazz up 51-45, 2 minutes left in the second half. The Milwaukee Bucks are up 21-17 over your fellow New York Knicks. Julius Randle has 12 points. The Knicks have 17. Randle has 12.
Hey, they're only down 8. That's progress.
23-17.
Or 6. Even better. Against the best team in the East.
Giannis Antetokounmpo has 8. And no one else. Eric Bledsoe has 6. And that's about 3 minutes left in the first quarter. The Houston Rockets are up 31-26 over the Grizzlies. James Harden has 17. And for the Grizzlies, John Morant has 11. So John Morant's playing phenomenal. Around 10:30, you'll see Golden State take on Luka Doncic, the MVP of basketball right now. I don't really care what anyone says.
Oh, you're finally off of Bradley Beal. Now you're actually going to go with the popular.
Well, hold on. Doncic, I believe, deserved all the credit in the world, but I just said Bradley Beal deserves to be in the discussion. That's all I said.
That's fine.
And he still does. If he went to a winning basketball team, he'd be in there immediately. But at 10:30, the Clippers take on the Cavaliers. If you want to take the over in this game, I don't blame you at all. They're going to win this game by about 35. They'll probably be more competitive in this game than the Houston Texans the whole rest of the game against the Chiefs outside the first quarter.
Yeah, it's the Cavs. Can you really trust them?
I'm going to bash both of them later. But college basketball-wise, a lot of upsets right now, actually. Surprising. Well, 2. Duke is actually trailing the number 3 team in the nation to Clemson right now, 52-48. There's about 11 minutes left in the second half.
Their basketball team's mad about what happened to their football team. They're taking it out on Duke.
Yeah, probably. We're going to talk about what happened in that game, too. But Pitt is actually up on Louisville, number 11 in the nation, 45-43, with about 10 minutes left as well in the second half.
Louisville's been very average since their hot start. I think they were 8-0, and they've been very average since.
Right. But
I like their top player, but they're not playing the highest level.
I think it has to do with the coach. Anyway, number 13 in the nation, Dayton, is actually up 21-16. 23, Texas Tech is up 20-12 over Kansas State. Did I say VCU is losing to Dayton?
No, you didn't get to VCU yet.
No, VCU's losing to Dayton.
Oh, okay. That I can see, though. Dayton's been a pretty good team.
Number 21, Ohio State. Oh, boy, they must be pissed off today, too. Ohio State, number 21 in the nation, beat Nebraska 80-68. Speedy, I don't think you got my joke. I said Ohio State should be pissed off, too.
No.
Joe Burrow left Ohio State to go to
LSU.
LSU.
Yeah, that's right.
And they probably would have won that game had they had Joe Burrow as opposed to Jalen Hurts. Or not Jalen
Justin
Hurts.
Fields.
Justin Fields, sorry.
Probably, but the question is, would Ohio State give them the same weapons around them that LSU has? They have weapons, but LSU's got some nice
We'll
receivers.
talk about Joe Burrow later. At 8:30, Villanova takes on DePaul. At 9 o'clock, they're at 14 in the nation, 17 in the nation. Maryland takes on Wisconsin. Number 6, Kansas takes on Oklahoma. Number 12, West Virginia University takes on TCU. That's going to be a good basketball game. And number 7, San Diego State takes on Fresno State. That game will be a blowout. Speaking of blowouts, we'll go to hockey. And the Tri-State has 2 blowouts going on. We'll go with the one that everyone wants to hear first. The Toronto Maple Leafs are up 5-1 over the New Jersey Devils. It's going to be funny in a second, I promise. John Tavares has scored. Frederick Garther has scored. Zach Hyman scored. William Nylander and Austin Matthews have tickled the twine. Bam, hockey reference. And Blake Coleman for the Devils. That's the 5-1 score. The other game in the tri-state area, the New York Islanders, after being embarrassed and humiliated last night by the New York Rangers at the Garden, are up 6-1 over the Detroit Red Wings. Jordan Eberle, Josh Bailey, Brock Nelson, Anders Lee, Brock Nelson again, and Noah Dobson have all scored, while Felipe Hornick has scored for the Red Wings. That's right, the Islanders are on a mission to try to embarrass the Red Wings like they were last night. Yes, I'm taking a shot at the Islanders because they lost the Rangers. Yes, I am. The Buffalo Sabres, the other New York team, because that's right, Buffalo's part of New York, ladies and gentlemen. They're actually tied at 1 with the Canucks. The Las Vegas Golden Knights. Thomas Nosek has scored for the Knights, and for the Sabres, a goal by Kyle Oposo. So it's just an Islander day all around, isn't it? So there you go.
Well, the Sabres for a while were the Islanders' retirement home.
That's true. That's true. I'm trying to think if Pantane went to the Rangers, then the Sabres, then the Rangers. I think he retired to Ranger.
Yeah.
I think he did.
So.
The Kings and Lightning are tied at 2. Stamkos and Kilhorn have scored for the Lightning. Kyle Clifford and Jeff Carter, I forget he's a King. That's a shame. Are tied at 2. Again. The Pittsburgh Penguins and the return of Sid the Kid. Sidney Crosby is back for the Penguins, and he's already paying dividends. They're up 3-0, and his first shift with Malkin since got a goal. He got the assist. Malkin got the goal, but you think the Penguins were hot before he got back? Watch what they're doing. They're going to run through the league. It's 4-0 now. They scored in the 5 seconds that I was talking. That's unbelievable. The goals for the Penguins, you asked, Malkin, McCann, Rust, and I'm thinking Crosby just scored as a hello to me. What do you think?
Nah, I'll go with number 2 for Malkin.
Do you know that to be true?
No.
Oh, because you
guessing.
said it with such confidence.
I'm guessing.
Well, we know how CBS is, so we're going to have to wait a little bit. Columbus is up 1-0 over the Boston Bruins. Little known fact, Alexander Wenberg is my favorite non-Ranger. He scored for the Columbus Blue Jackets. New York Rangers should trade a nice couple draft picks for him. I think he'd be a very solid center. Wins great face-offs, and he is a playmaker.
Yeah, they do need a face-off guy. Any face-off guy they can get, you'd probably take for if they can get him for a bargain.
Oh, yeah. Still 4-0, but they won't tell me this one. The Ottawa Senators are up 2-0 over the Chicago Blackhawks. Sell now, Chicago. Trade everybody. Connor Brown and Chris Tierney have scored for the Senators. I can't believe I just said that. The Winnipeg Jets are up 1-0 over the Canucks. The goal for the Winnipeg Jets came from Dustin Byfuglien. I'm just kidding. Kyle Connor, another great young win in the league.
Oh, he's a nice player.
He's going to be a very nice player. And in about a half hour, the Dallas Stars will take on the Colorado Avalanche. The Nashville Predators and their rebuilding emerging team, whatever they want to call themselves, take on the Edmonton Oilers. And the Arizona Coyotes take on the disappointing San Jose Sharks. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Around the World in Sports. Patrick Hornquist has scored for the Penguins. That was the fourth goal.
Ranger killer.
Yeah, he's some Chris Kunitz too.
Oh my
Every
God,
time
yeah.
he touched the ice.
Yep.
Every time he touched the ice. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is Around the World in Sports, brought to you by Reyes Cafe, 150 Miller Parkway, Hop Hog, New York. I don't know I don't know it. I don't know it. Get over it. Get over it.
I have a weird theory
Get
that
over it.
one of our other radio hosts on this network secretly does know the zip code and doesn't want to tell you.
Who?
I don't know. I feel like somebody would do that to spite you, though.
Probably. So, let me just... All right, real quick. We're going to get into the show, but this just happened on Twitter, right? So, are we even on Twitter anymore?
Yeah.
Because I don't get tagged or anything. But anyway, Bleacher Report in a stupid post. Okay, and yeah, I'm taking a shot. Justin Watts actually just liked what I said too, so that's fine. But they did top 10 players of the decade, right? Or all time, I'm sorry. So according to Bleacher Report, it's 1 Jordan, 2 LeBron, 3 Kareem, 4 Magic, 5 Bird, 6 Shaq, 7 Duncan, 8 Russell, 9 Wilt, 10 Steph Curry. So it's clearly a joke. Clearly a joke because Steph Curry's not. Somebody wrote, Chris Watts said, all I know is Kobe Bean Bryant can take someone's spot on the list. Y'all agree? I wrote, for the 1 millionth time, Kobe is better than LeBron. And it's already getting rave reviews.
If only Errol was on Twitter, that would be the ideal thing to tag him in. You have somebody who agrees with you.
Who? Errol doesn't agree.
That Kobe's not top 10?
No, I say Kobe's better than LeBron.
No, the guy's list, I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, Errol probably retweet the crap out of that. See?
There is another one that agrees with me.
See? I told you the stats, see?
He's not alone.
No, he's alone. Trust me, he's alone. Well, no, that's not true. There are other people that are very
I think
disrespectful.
he's 18th.
No.
That's the first time I've heard that.
But I know people that don't think he's top 10 all time. And that's ridiculous. But I'm not. I'm already mad. I don't need to be more mad. Well, what are you mad about now? Right? That's what you wise asses want to know, right? So, all right, I'll give it to you. To be quite honest with you, the lead story today was absolutely the national championship game. We can't erase it, so I'm going to talk over it. LSU winning the national championship was the story all day long because it's fresh, it's lead. I have yet to talk about the Houston Nationals suspension that came down, but I figured, all right, we'll do the championship game first because it's, talked about. Burrow to go number 1 overall. Ed Orgeron about how, he's probably the next coaching fad or the next coaching guy to come out of that tree and be really successful. That's where I was going to go. And then about 40 minutes ago, it was announced that the Boston Red Sox and Alex Cora have mutually agreed to part ways, a.k.a. they fired him. And it brings me back to the original point of why Major League Baseball screwed up again. So let's just do this, okay? I'm going to give everyone the details. So the Houston Astros, the 2017 World Series champs, the Boston Red Sox, 2018 World Series champs, and the 2019, 18, and 17 representative for the American League have one giant king in common. They all cheated. One more time. They cheated. Cheated. Now, for those of you that go, well, Tyler, you support the Patriots. I said that the Patriots probably are just telling the truth about we sent him there to do this thing. He had credentials. He was not there illegally. He was not there without knowledge. He was there filming a show. And, they gave it up lickety-split. Now, the Patriots and the Astros have a huge difference. Patriots won numerous Super Bowls without cheating. The Astros have not won without cheating. The Red Sox have won at least without cheating. So we think. Depending on what you think of David Ortiz and steroids, that's fine. But for the most part, they didn't cheat. This is why everything to me points back to the Houston Astros. So the Houston Astros had this relaying of signs to the hitters, so they had an advantage over the pitcher. Let me just tell you one thing quickly, because I don't want this to get out of hand quickly. Now, I don't mind when a runner on second base is watching the catcher to throw down signs, and the guy on second base is retired. Oh, what the heck? Whoa, you want breaking news? Luke Kuechly has retired.
Wow.
Luke Kuechly, all-pro linebacker of the Carolina Panthers, has retired.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
So this is what we're going to do, okay? Because breaking news never happens on this freaking show. What we're going to do now is we're going to wrap up this Astros thing, however long or short it may be, because I have a lot to say. We will then transition to this Luke Kuechly thing, talk about that, because this, I hate to tell people, Luke Kuechly will not be the last one to do this. This is going to become a very popular thing. That's why we're going to get back to a conversation we had months ago, and everyone.
Oh no!
You're out of your mind.
No!
You're nuts.
No!
Yes.
We are not doing the Andrew Luck thing again.
Not specifically that, but it's a bigger topic. It's a bigger, expanding thing, and I think you'll see why later. But right now, that is huge. Now, he actually ties into Antonio Brown, too, so that's good. Now, the reason why I started with the Houston Astros today is let's just recap what happened. 2017, the New York Yankees and Houston Astros won 7 games. The Astros advanced to the World Series. They went on to win the World Series. Then the Boston Red Sox the following year did the same thing. Alex Cora dominated the New York Yankees in that series. Then they went on to beat the Astros. No, they didn't beat the Astros. Who did they beat in the 18 championship?
Dodgers.
No, not in the World Series. The championship. To get to the World Series.
The Brewers.
No, the Red Sox.
Yeah, the Astros.
Okay, they did beat the Astros?
Yeah.
Okay. So they beat the Astros, probably cheated again to get there. Now, here's the interesting part, right?
Now, the real question, did both of them cheat at the same time against each other?
Probably. So Major League Baseball found all this out. A lot of teams were supposedly tipped off to this, and a lot of teams were, that sounds a little weird. And Major League Baseball investigated it, and they did find that they were guilty. And here's the punishment that was laid down over the weekend by Major League Baseball. GM Jeff, what's his name?
Luhnow.
Jeff Luhnow and manager A.J. Hinch were suspended a year each. They were then fired by the Houston Astros about a half hour later. So I'm here to tell you that's bullshit. That's absolute garbage.
That the ownership fired them?
I'll get to it. The
That's
2020
something to do with the league rule has something to do with his decision.
No. Well,
have to fire
I will.
him.
No. I'll get to it. I promise. The 2021 and 2020, yes, 2020 and 2021 first and second round picks of the Astros have been stripped away, and they've been fined $5 million. My immediate question, because everyone was like, "Oh, that's really harsh. That's harsh." I'm surprised that they really did that. That was a lot. Oh man, that was harsh. That was really harsh. I'm here to tell you that is not a punishment at all for the Houston Astros. That is,
Not all.
that's a slap on the wrist. That was incredible.
I wouldn't go that far. I think they could have gone harder. I wouldn't say that wasn't a slap on the wrist, though.
That was a slap on the wrist.
You cause a GM to be suspended for a year, a very good GM, who really has not changed the game of baseball, but has used analytics to the greatest form of it. I've said it many times, they rebirth pitchers. They do a great.
Well, we'll find out next year how good they rebirth pitchers.
They do a great job with developing players, everything like that. And now he's suspended for a year, which, again, caused him to get fired. That's pretty harsh. And, again, with that controversy, it'll be hard. I think it'll be easier for him to get a job than Hinch, but...
Oh, Hinch will probably never manage again.
Yeah, it's still going to shed some light on, are these guys going to get a job? So you rob them of their careers. You're going to make it hard for the other players to want to stay. You're, again, taking away. I thought they would do more.
Well, how's it hard for them to stay?
Why are you going to want to stay on a team that's been
They
shadowed
created
by
the
this?
culture.
Right, so the players aren't going to want to stay there.
But the players created the culture.
Not entirely.
Most.
Sure.
Most.
I'd
I'd put 90% of it on the players.
I wouldn't go that far. I think
the manager was against the whole thing. By all accounts, AJ Hinch said, I was against it, I was against it.
He
I
can
was
say that
against it,
all
I
he
was
wants.
against it.
That doesn't mean he wasn't still giving signs and
No, absolutely. I agree.
signals, whistling, whatever, anything like that. And the biggest thing I heard is it was initially done by the front office where there was evidence and messages of them signaling to the camera guy.
That's fine. That's fine. You're not wrong. Now, here's why. First of all, I told you all what my suspension would be. Now, let me say this about the Houston Astros organization. They are the biggest phonies in this whole mess. You want to talk about owner? You don't think the ownership knew? The ownership freaking
No, I think
knew.
they were
Oh,
involved.
stop.
They were involved. I know.
Yeah, absolutely. So the owner paid $5 million on top of what he paid to win a World Series. Is basically what happened.
Do you think he should be forced to sell the team?
No. But all I know is, I'll say this. The Houston Astros got really, really good around this time where the cheating thing took place. So were you really that talented of a team? Because outside of Altuve, you had a lot of question marks that became really good players. That's what I'll say now. But let's go this step by step. You said they rebirthed pitchers.
Yep.
Okay, how much of that was based on cheating?
Well, the pitchers weren't really the ones stealing the signs, though. Keep that in mind.
No, I get that, but there has to be a way they did it for pitchers. There has to be a way the pitchers were cheating too. There's no way they only cheated one side of the ball. That's not how you win baseball games.
No, I understand that, but I feel like just because they're the ones giving the signs, the catcher's giving the signs to the pitcher, vice versa, of what the hitter thinks they're going to throw or what they're going to throw just naturally based on the pitch sequence. I'm trying to figure out how that would happen. So is it like, all right, the hitter sees this, oh, we know that now, and all of a sudden there's a camera guy relaying something back at the pitcher, throw something else? That's the only thing I could think of, because otherwise there'd be really no way to manipulate it as a pitcher. So I think that kind of thing is two separate things.
No, you're true. That's right. But I have to be honest, my gut tells me the pitchers were in on too. Now, there's a lot of parts here. Hinch gets fired. Lunau, how do you pronounce the last name?
Lunau, yep.
Lunau? Mm-hmm. They're both fired. Lunau will get a job probably 2021, 2022, depending on who gets fired and whatnot.
Yeah, there's enough bad teams where somebody has to teach him.
Yeah, the Padres. But here's a part that I don't understand. So let's quickly go back to what I was saying before Luke Kuechly retired. I have no problem with the runner on second base seeing the sign and relaying it. To me, that's just baseball.
Right.
I'm not complaining
There's no
about
problem
that.
with natural sign stealing.
Right. The sign stealing here is not my issue. The enhancement of sign stealing, this is worse than Spygate. To me. Now, listen, I'm all for the sign stealing on the baseball field because that to me is intelligence. That's baseball IQ. That's what I chalk it up to. You're not telling me that Mike Trout's standing on second base going, well, he should know there's a slider coming in the dirt so that way I can't score. All right, I'll just stand here and wait. You're not telling me that that's a good idea. That's an awful idea, and Mike Trout should want his team to do as much as he does. And collectively, they can't. So one by one, he needs to help. But I will say this. So natural sign stealing is not my problem. If organizations are going to start this trend, because the Red Sox are grouped in this now, Major League Baseball is going to fall flat on its face. You have to remember, a lot of people after this steroid thing with Congress got very turned off. Oh, so they're not really hitting the ball that far. It's a hoax. They're just on steroids. That's what these uncultured swines actually think. Oh, the game is boring, so I'm not going to watch it now because no one's hitting 500 feet long balls. That's what these people are thinking. Now, I cannot sit here and tell you that Major League Baseball's punishment was a slap on the wrist, but I can tell you I think it was severely soft. Severely. To me, that is a joke of a punishment. An absolute joke. I've been saying this for a while now. I would have stripped them of the World Series title so that way you prevent any future. Oh, well, even if we win and we get caught cheating, we're not going to have it. That, to me, would have been the first thing to go. You're no longer the 2017 World Series champions. It's vacant. Vacant doesn't count. There was no World Series winner that year. That would have stopped this right in its tracks. Now, the Boston Red Sox are probably going to have that happen. The Boston Red Sox World Series title most likely is getting stripped. Because Alex Cora took what he knew and enhanced it on severe drugs. Severe. Like what he did was worse in Boston than what he did in Houston.
Right.
But we'll get to that in a second. The draft picks are a joke. You know how many first-round picks don't make Major League rosters? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, that's why I thought they would have expanded that as more of the basis of the punishment and less of it being on the actual managers and GM suspensions. I thought they would be harsher on the money and the picks more, just because Major League Baseball is a crapshoot. Instead of spending just 1 through 2, suspend 1 through 10 or something like that.
Strip away a whole year or 2. So I agree. I would have stripped away more draft picks. I would have stripped them of signing any overseas free agent. No international pool money for you. We're going to fine you $5 million. That's fine. On top of that, you're not signing any international pool money over the next 5 years. Because now, what that says is, oh, you're going to get top-level guys not in this country to come here and cheat. No, sorry. That ain't going to how that works either. The biggest punishment, I think, that you could have done. Now, I had this conversation today with my GM at work. It's not in the baseball bylaws, but guess what? Neither is cheating, so I don't really give a rip. So I would have suspended you from the playoffs for 5 to 10 years. I would have. You're not eligible to. Your record doesn't matter. You're 0-0 for the next 10 years. 5 years. 10's a little too harsh. 5 years is fine. You had to put your foot on the Astros' throat to prevent this from further happening. But reports have been coming out. Even Logan Morrison said years ago, in 2014 they were doing this. No one even batted an eye. But now it got too big.
They weren't good, so nobody cared.
Right. But now it got too big and baseball just couldn't ignore it anymore. Just like the steroid era. It got too big, couldn't be ignored anymore. Now you're in Congress. Now the game's tarnished.
Well, there's a difference between it happening in a postseason and an ALCS World Series game versus a couple games in the regular season. Though.
Right, which is fine. But you have to practice that in the regular season. You don't master that in a week and a half. You need practice to cheat. It's not. You don't wake up and go, all right, we're going to relay it this way without getting caught. We're going to do this with the drum so that way we don't get caught. That's bullshit. They were practicing that all season, and multiple seasons at that. So now you let it go in Houston. Alex Cora gets a managing job with the Boston Red Sox. This is where the Red Sox screw up. The Astros gave Cora an endorsement, right? Ownership had to exchange pleasantries on this guy. You're not signing a bench coach who has had no job experience just on a whim. Not happening. Zero. There's a lot of Major League Baseball guys out there that can manage the Boston Red Sox. A lot of them. The Yankees have Aaron Boone, who, by the way, I'm going to get to in a second. Hello, how are you? You're back. And honestly, this is why I'm so mad about it. If the Yankees didn't get screwed in 2017, they probably beat the Astros. They probably win the World Series that year. Then guess what?
There's no guarantee they beat the Dodgers.
Fine, they get to the World Series.
The Dodgers were a better team.
Well, the Dodgers are always a better team, and they choke. But here's the thing that I'm most mad about. We could still have Joe freaking Girardi.
That is true.
That's what really grinds my gears. I could have a great manager on top of a great roster instead of a great roster and a bonehead. That's what I could have. But no, Girardi's gone. So, whatever. It's fine. I don't care. I really don't. I don't give a rip. But here's the problem.
Somehow talking about the Astros and Red Sox cheating, you still managed to take a shot at Aaron Boone.
It's not a shot. Joe Girardi's a better manager. If you cannot admit that, you don't know baseball.
I'm just saying you went out of your way just to do that on something that isn't even related to Aaron Boone.
Whoever can call me right now or talk to me in my face about this, if you think Aaron Boone's a better manager than Joe Girardi is, you're on serious drugs. Serious. Stop drinking, leave the bar, go home, and fall asleep. There's no way in hell Joe Girardi is not a better manager than Aaron Boone. There's no way. If Aaron Boone managed those Florida Marlins teams, they'd be 0-162. There's no way in hell Joe Girardi is not a better manager than Aaron Boone. And now we just signed Garrett Cole, the biggest contract a pitcher's ever seen, because he cheated. He cheated. He was on the 2018 team.
Was it the 2017 team that cheated, though?
Both teams cheated.
Okay, but the 2017 team's the one that got caught.
Speedy, don't make me mad. But
And again, how is it? Again, we still haven't deciphered how the pitchers would do it too.
I guarantee you they cheated.
Unless it's my theory of, all right, there's a double relay of signs, and it just came back where someone else was giving signals to the pitcher like a catcher would. That's the only thing I could think of.
All I know is
But that
they
would be
cheated.
very hard.
The whole team cheated. Tom Brady was blamed for deflated footballs. Okay, so if they're going to blame Tom Brady for having a deflated football in his hands without his knowledge, I'm allowed to blame Garrett Cole for not knowing that they were cheating. Here's the biggest problem with the whole thing. There was not a single player suspended. Not Altuve, not George Springer, not Alex Bregman, not Carlos Correa. Not a single one of them got suspended. They were the ones benefiting from the cheating. They're the guys that actually acted out the cheating. They were the ones that literally did what you sowed. If I said I'm going to go strangle Speedy and somebody else does it, I'm not going to get in more trouble than the guy that strangled Speedy. I'll probably get a slap on the wrist for threats. But Speedy got murdered over there, and the guy that murdered him is going to go to jail longer than me. The Astros punished guys that had nothing to do with it. They weren't benefiting at all. They were just helping the system go along. The players benefited more than anything else. The players didn't get suspended at all. That's the biggest problem. I would rather have a guy shoot up steroids, hit a ball 550 feet, and entertain me than cheat. Well, they're both cheating. No, they're not. One does not enhance hand-eye coordination. The other one is, hey, listen, there's a slider coming on a 3-2 count in the middle of the bat. All right, great, let me swing now. Bang, there it goes. That's impossible. The hardest thing to do is hit a major league pitch. And the Astros knew what everyone was doing before they did it. Not a single player was suspended. How the hell is that soft? How is it not soft? Tom Brady got suspended 4 games, a third of the year, for a team deflating the football about an ounce too much.
Right, but if you're going to use the logic of who benefited from the sign stealing and suspend those players, it's the same kind of logic for Brady.
Right, but Tom Brady served 4 games. The Astros players collectively got none. 0. Josh Reddick, who the hell else is there?
Gurriel.
Brian McCann, Gurriel. Who I'm trying to think of somebody that left the Astros in 2017 or 18.
Marwin Gonzalez.
Marwin Gonzalez. 330 hitter, now he's hitting what, 276? Come on! Not a single player was suspended. That's a problem. That's not good. That's not a good look for Major League Baseball at all. But yet, Domingo Germán got, I told you it was going to be a big one. Now, I get it, and they're not worse, but the integrity of the game, Domingo Germán should be permanently banned from baseball. To me, I would have suspended him for life. Now even that looks soft. Oh, yeah, he got 61 games. That's a lot. Yeah, 83 collectively altogether. Oh, no, I guess not. Oh, wow, they screwed. Oh, the Astros cheated and got away with it. Oh, all right, great. I for the life of me, even Jose Reyes, what he did to his wife, that was soft. Chapman, soft. Everything's been soft. We talked about this Monday. Mike Trout's not even the biggest star in L.A. Guess what? He's not even the biggest news story in baseball now. He's not. For the next 2 to 3 years, guess what the story's going to be? Are the Astros cheating? Boy, look at what the Astros are doing without cheating. Oh, look at the Houston Astros. Oh, their first World Series since everything happened. Oh, look, their first playoff appearance since everything happened. Oh, look, they're 162 without everything happening. That's all you're going to hear all year long about this cheating scandal. All year long. Now, here's why I think the Astros deserve it worse than the Red Sox, right? The blueprint is always worse than what comes afterwards. Always.
Well, it depends on what's used, though, too.
I don't care. I do not care. If I told you a plan on how to rob a bank, but you went home and figured out how to do it better and got more money and then robbed the same bank, I look worse because I'm the one that gave you the plan.
Right, but at the same time, if you use stuff that is more advanced in terms of a way to do it, you could get more benefits that way. So, for
Sure.
example, I'll use your bank analogy. If you rob a bank and you use, let's say, you shoot a guy with a pistol or something,
Okay.
and then you rob a bank and you have a more advanced gun. You shoot 3 guys, so you could get in, break in even more money. You get a weapon that could get into a safe that you wouldn't be able to break with a simple pistol. If the Red Sox get caught with more evidence of using a replay room to do it, there's just more available to do it like that than just one camera. There's different cameras in that. There's TriCaster technology where you could stream to different parts of the field. There's audio recorders. There's microphones in there. There's different things you can do. So I think that would be worse if they did indeed use the whole replay room. So I don't know how much of it they used, if it was just one camera. That's to be determined still. But there's a chance they could get caught if they use more, if it is the replay room, and that would be worse just because of all they used. There's more available to use.
So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to recap this. We're going to talk about the shocking retirement of Luke Kuechly and break down, hopefully, the NFL playoffs next on the home stretch.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
I manage a baseball team.
Little League?
Fantasy League.
We are back with the home stretch on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Hello. Welcome back to the home stretch. I'm your host, Ty Harrison, as Duke has officially been upset by Clemson, 79-72. A lot of shocking things going on right now, like me defending Kobe again. Whatever. Anyway.
Is there any instance where you wouldn't defend Kobe?
Jordan was more dominant.
Okay.
Outside of that, no.
Okay. Just curious.
Although Kobe's probably more skilled than Jordan was.
Interesting.
I don't think that's really that hard. LeBron studied Kobe's game. Kobe didn't study LeBron's.
Well, Kobe was already polished by the time LeBron entered his prime, really, so
Right.
I don't think there was anything really need to study.
No, I'm saying, like, Kobe wouldn't have studied anyone's game outside of Jordan. That was it.
Well, that's fair. I'm
Jordan
just saying-
Magic, that was it.
I'm just saying the reason LeBron probably studied Kobe's game was because
He was better.
when LeBron got into his prime was right at, I wouldn't
The
say
end of Kobe's prime.
kind of towards the end of Kobe's prime, so he was already so established and so dominant for so long.
Sure, but why not study Jordan's game then?
I don't know.
I know why. It's fine. Really, truly is. I'm not having this argument anymore. But Guido's gone, and that's all that matters. Oh, that's right. Snugs alert. That's the whole reason I was on Twitter in the first place. Breaking news. Luke Kuechly accepts position as new manager for the Astros, promises not to cheat as much.
Luke Kuechly wouldn't cheat.
No, well, I didn't think Hinch would cheat either, but I will say that is a very so to wrap this thing up, I do think Major League Baseball should have been more swift. You cannot let the inmates run the asylum. Players should have been suspended. I don't know how long you would have suspended them. I guess it depends on who was the giant culprit of this. And don't be fooled, Met fans. Carlos Beltran's going to get a punishment too.
I'm surprised he didn't.
He's gonna.
I think he would too.
He's going to get suspended a couple games. But, yeah, there's a lot of fallout from this. And to be quite honest with you, this is going to be a trickle effect for the next 5 years. There's going to be more stories coming out like, oh, well, Cora went to the Red Sox. There are other position players and position coaches that have left there. It's not ending there. And that Red Sox team, too, there are guys that might have left 2018 to go somewhere else and established it there. This is not going to go away anytime soon. I think they dropped the ball completely on the management of this. But we were going to talk about the national championship game. However, Luke Kuechly retiring at the age of 28 has become it's shocking news, but it's becoming more of a normal than not. Star players leaving at such a young age. If he wasn't the best middle linebacker in football, I personally think it's Bobby Wagner. He was the guy. It was him or Bobby Wagner. There was no other option to me.
Obviously, after Patrick Willis retired, too.
Sure.
Because he was the best still, as long as he was playing.
Right,
Really.
and you could even make the argument when Ray Lewis was in his prime, Patrick Willis might have surpassed him certain years.
Well, right. I think Patrick Willis kind of did it, 09-10, because Ray Lewis was towards the end of his career at that point. But I think it was from whatever that is, 2009 really to 14, when he retired, Willis, I think he was the best. And then I think at that point it was taken over by Kuechly after that.
So this is the year Luke Kuechly just had. I need everyone to realize this. In 16 games, he's missed.
He's barely any.
Yeah,
I think 3 or 4 if most.
He missed 1 in 17, 6 in 16, and 3 in 15. That's it.
Wow, I didn't remember him getting hurt in 2016.
But he, in 16 games, had 2 interceptions this year and 144 tackles, 81 solo, 63 assisted. How many sacks? And he had no sacks this year.
Well, they don't blitz him a lot.
Yeah, he's not
He's
really
a coverage
that kind.
run
Yeah,
stop
he's not a blitzer. But that gives him a career total of 18 interceptions, 1 touchdown return, 12.5 sacks, and 1,092 tackles. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to tell you this. Listen to me right now. Look at the all-star talent that you've lost this year. Antonio Brown's done in the league. He might as well retire now. As we mentioned, Patrick Willis has retired early. Calvin Johnson retired early. Barry Sanders retired early.
For different reasons. But
Sure. I'm trying to think of Chris Borland retired early. Who a lot of people,
early.
He literally won rookie of the year and moved.
He would have won Rookie of the Year in a lot of other years that didn't have Aaron Donald in it.
Right. He was an amazing player in his own right. I'm trying to think of this. Happened to the Colts, too. Another Colt guy retired early. Andrew Luck obviously retired early. Patrick Willis, as we mentioned before. But Andrew Luck and Rob Gronkowski this year, plus Luke Kuechly, retired early. That says a lot.
The Ravens had a linebacker, too, Zach Orr, that retired early, too. He played, I think, 2 years. He didn't play much because they had so much outside rushing depth at that time. But
he was good, too.
Oh, no, he was a middle linebacker. Never mind. But
he was good.
They had enough linebacker depth where he didn't play a lot, but he was still talented, and I think he only played 2 years, and then he retired, too.
I'm trying to think of Jack Mewhort retired early.
Okay.
That's who I was thinking of.
I was thinking of that. There was a running back they had that he got shot or something like that, and he just passed away. And he was young too. One of their backup running backs. I'm drawing a blank on his name. So a lot of bad luck for the Colts.
Yeah. There's a lot of players retiring early, ladies and gentlemen, isn't something that is they don't love the game anymore. I can promise you. And about depends when he wants it. By the beginning of next year, Luke Kuechly will come out and say he was probably, multiple concussions, very beat up, banged up. The same story you hear from all these guys. It's never a different story. Calvin Johnson had to smoke weed before he went on the football field. That's how banged up that man was. He had to play high. Think about that. Calvin Johnson, who some people think, I don't think he's the best Johnson of this generation, but that's fine. Possibly the best wide receiver, not named Jerry Rice or Larry Fitzgerald, or top 10 wide receiver all time, had to smoke weed after every game to get back on a football field. That's how banged up he was, and he's a wide receiver. I'm not taking a shot, but as far as quarterbacks, offensive line, and running backs go, they don't get hit that much. They don't get hit as much as everyone else I just mentioned. Linebackers, to me, are the craziest of them all. You are dishing out hits every single snap. Hard hits. Ray Lewis, Dick Butkus, Jack Lambert.
Mike Singletary.
Mike Singletary is probably the lead example. Terrell Suggs was a hard hitter. Steve Atwater is a safety, but he was one of the hardest hitting guys I ever saw. The guy was a rocket. John Lynch, hard hitter.
Jack Tatum.
Ronnie Lott. Rod Woodson was a pretty hard hitter for a corner himself.
Right.
Troy Polamalu in most recent years. Jamal Adams now is pretty much that guy. But
Troy Polamalu flew over the line of scrimmage and blasted you.
his snap count rating was amazing.
I know.
But I was always mad because all these people had the notion that Ed Reed wasn't better than Troy Polamalu. To me, they're not even in the same stratosphere.
Well, they're two different types of players, so it's kind of tough to judge. I think Ed Reed, for what he did, I think was probably a little better, just because I think in a passing league with so many good quarterbacks, him being that locked down in coverage is unheard of.
Oh, yeah. He was literally a center fielder out there playing baseball. Nope, there's a fly ball. I'm going to go get it. That's literally what his job was. And Rex Ryan created a defense around his ability to do that. Amazing. That defense, there's going to be a documentary about that defense. That defense with Rex Ryan and Suggs and obviously Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Deion Sanders. That defense had some talent on it. Hall of Fame, Pro Bowl talent. Chris McAllister is a guy that a lot of people forget
Dwayne
about.
Starks. Yeah.
There's a lot of guys on that defense. And I'm telling you now, that documentary is going to be entertaining as, oh my God. Sanders, Ed Reed, and Ray Lewis alone. Then you add Rex Ryan to it, forget about it. There will be something about that defense sometime in the future. Not to make this about football moves, but this might have a little bit something to do with the fact that, Ron Rivera's gone. I'm banged up. Cam Newton's probably leaving too. Matt Rule is an offensive guy. I believe their defensive coordinator's out, right? He went to Washington, I think, with Ron Rivera.
No, Jack Del Rio signed with the Redskins as a defensive coordinator.
Oh, that's a mistake.
No,
But
it's
anyway.
not. I think it's a great move. He's a nice coordinator. He was a good coach. I don't know why he ever got fired from the Raiders. I know why, but
Well, they wanted Gruden, but
I know that. But he wasn't a bad head coach.
No, he
either.
wasn't.
He was a good head coach, and he's an even better coordinator. He did a great job with Denver before they got Phillips, and obviously was
did you
great
hear
with-
about Wade Phillips?
great with Jacksonville. He's gone. I don't know where he went. I
No,
don't know.
Cleveland's thinking about bringing him in.
Let me think. I'm just trying to see if their defense would work as a 3-4 because
No, that don't even go by what the talent they have now. That team's going to go through a massive overhaul.
Nah, it actually might work though, because their defensive linemen are kind of versatile, so I could see that work.
Well, not only that, you're losing their best linebacker. Sherbert's gone.
You think?
Yeah, they can't bring him back. How are they going to pay him?
Are they that cash strapped though? Because their team's mostly young.
Baker?
Baker's not paid right now.
What?
He's getting a rookie contract.
No, I know, but he's still making more money than the average person.
Whatever the rookie contract.
Odell,
is, okay.
Landry.
Odell Landry. I understand that.
Vernon,
Okay.
you're probably bringing back Demarius Randall.
Yeah, he's not going to cost much though.
No, I disagree. And then you add the fact you need offensive line help. Benino is going to get a contract.
Yeah, but interior offensive linemen don't make as much.
They just signed Treader not too long ago.
Again, interior offensive linemen don't make as much. So I don't see where they're that cash strapped where they would have trouble signing Schobert. Yeah, the linebacker premium's gone up. I agree with that, but I think they'll still be able to sign him comfortably if they want him. If they bring in Wade Phillips and Wade Phillips doesn't think he'll fit, all right, let him go and draft somebody who fits, I guess. But if they wanted to hang on to him because he's a growing young linebacker that deserves his money. You can pay him.
I mean, honestly, now that Kuechly retired, that second best linebacker spot's wide open. Wide open. I mean, it might be Dante Hightower.
Well, if you're just judging middle linebacker, I don't know if you could just put him there because he also plays outside too, and he's blitzing a lot more than usual for.
I think going forward he'll be the middle linebacker for the Patriots. Jaquan Bentley and him will be on the field 98% of the time in the middle next year.
I think when healthy, it's probably C.J. Mosley though. I would imagine when he's healthy.
Oh, true. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about he didn't play so long. I forgot. Yeah, that's true. All right, that probably is C.J. Mosley. Probably is. I know I'm forgetting a guy, and I probably should know. Maybe it's even Deion Jones.
He's close too, but I think Mosley's a little better.
Mosley is better, but Deion Jones is certainly in the conversation. Jalen Smith is definitely in the conversation.
I think Jones is better than him, though.
Yeah, but how much of that was Rob Marinelli just not using him right?
Yeah, and the Falcons' defense was misused by the coordinators they had when his first 2 years.
No, I agree. But now, the reason that we're getting on to this topic is because the NFL has this fad, as we were alluding to before we got off track. You're seeing a lot of players walk away. Tiki Barber retired early, giant guy. You know, he walked away because Coughlin, injuries, just whatever. I'm just going to walk away. And honestly, this isn't a shot at anybody, but look at what Tony Romo is doing on CBS. His contract is up, and ESPN is going to give him a huge payday to go and talk Monday Night Football. Because I'll be honest, Boogie McFarland, that booth is awful. It's so bad. Listen, losing John Gruden sucked.
I love John Gruden as an analyst.
Like it was hard to stomach the loss of John Gruden. But it wasn't bad because Mike Tirico was still there. They've lost both of them now, and it's awful. Boogie McFarland should be banned from talking football outside of social media. He should not be on national TV. Sorry.
Funny thing is, he wasn't a bad player. He just, I don't know what he is as an analyst. He's just, the takes he has are crazy.
Not even the takes, just his voice and how he speaks. And, oh, my God. I can't do it. I can't. Now.
At least they got rid of his freaking contraption chair that he used to have.
Yeah, I remember that.
At least they got rid of that.
That was bad. Well, to be quite honest with you, he was supposed to be the on-the-field guy. Jason Witten saying, I'm going back to football is what screwed that up.
Anyone who's an on-field reporter actually stands up on the field.
Right.
Doesn't have to freaking
Oh,
robotic
wow.
chair.
Got a 5-year deal from the Capitals?
Really?
Yeah, I just read that on ESPN just now.
Wow. That's surprising. Because he's older now. I didn't know
No, he's like 32.
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah, hockey players Taylor. Yager's almost 50. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he's an exception to the rule.
Kovalchuk's 43.
And
42. He's old.
And he's still getting paid on the alleged contract the Devils gave him. Which wasn't real, but
What do you mean?
The terms of the deal. I thought it was all 17 years, but it ended up being the way that when he went to Russia, they ended up just paying it in bulk kind of thing.
Well, there you go.
Or some buyout or something like that. So if that deal did continue, it would have been they would have still gotten paid by the Devils.
But
yeah, you're right. He's 32 years old. So
I can't.
Maybe, but
I just, for the life of me, I don't know why this is such a hard contract to understand. Now, concept. Sorry. This is where I really want everyone to kind of focus on this. The Hockey Hall of Fame doesn't have this problem because the Hockey Hall of Fame hasn't had scandals or anything like that outside of just lockouts that really have hurt the sport. And I need everyone to know, for those of you watching, when I look over there, it's because I see something on the corner of my eye and move, and it bugs me out because I think it's a spider. So that's why I'm always.
Oh, is that bug back that we couldn't catch?
I don't know what the hell it is, but I know that I look over there and I never see anything, and it bugs me out. So I apologize, but voodoo. Yeah, right. But I lost my train of thought just Oh, so hockey doesn't have this problem because hockey, I mean, outside of personal player stuff, like, just people situations, there's really not a global thing that shaped the sport in a negative way. Basketball accepts everybody into the Hall of Fame. Everybody. Okay?
Well, we got to remember basketball is also not just specifically the pro basketball.
Right.
Fame.
It's
everybody.
overseas, it's college, it's
WNBA,
right.
it's college, it's, like you said, international. They accept everything. So
right.
they have to be kind of more lenient with that. Otherwise, you're going to piss off other countries, schools, anything like that.
Right. Getting into the NBA Hall of Fame is like winning a Golden Globe. It doesn't really matter at all. But obviously the guys that should be in get in, and the guys that everyone likes to get in always will get in. Like Tony Parker is going to get in. Manu's going to get in. All these superstars are going to get in. I'm trying to think where I was going with this. So Major League Baseball and football are the two Hall of Fames that really need to warp how they vote. Okay? Major League Baseball has now this negative stigma of, oh, well, did you use steroids? Are your stats pure? Do you have X amount of hits, X amount of home runs, X amount of WAR, X amount of OPS, X amount of OPP, like slugging, whatever stat, wins, strikeouts, saves, innings pitched, postseason performance, accolades. All that stuff is great. But now even when you get the accolades and you have the career, you might have cheated, so you might not get in. From the votes I'm reading, this year is going to be a doozy because I think Bonds and Clemens are going to get it. But
you think this is the time?
I think they're both getting
They're
it.
finally going to break through.
I think so. From they're on most people's ballots that I've seen publicly. So we'll see. All I know is if Todd Helton or Larry Walker doesn't get in, I'm going to be pissed. They both deserve to be in. But I digress. The NFL, and let me get this straight. Like the NFL's Hall of Fame, and rightfully so, is the hardest one to get into. And I get that. It's the 1% of the 5% that can play professional football. That's fine. I understand the purity of it. I get it. What they're going to have to start doing, though, is start looking at each career as an individual basis instead of looking at numbers. The trend is going to pick up. The hard-hitting, the injuries, the CTE, the fact that you get players now that just get worn out. Kyler Murray will be playing baseball sooner rather than later. I can promise you that. All these players, for example, okay, should Andrew Luck, this is not a conversation. It's not, no, stop. I'm not having a conversation about it. I said Andrew Luck should be in the Hall of Fame. You look at his stats are elite. He was an elite quarterback. We all know what his stats are. We all know what he brought to the Colts. We all know he had that clutch performance in the playoff game to get them to the AFC Championship. We all know Andrew Luck, right? The best graded prospect since John Elway, possibly the greatest quarterback to ever come out of Stanford. We know all this stuff, okay? Forget that. He might have been the best college football player of the past 30 years. We get all this. Andrew Luck walked away from football because his body and his mind stopped playing football. He couldn't do it. He could not physically drag himself to do it. Patrick Willis is a finalist for the Hall of Fame. Patrick Willis walked away just as early as anyone else did. Patrick Willis walked away with another 5 or 7 years of dominant football. Calvin Johnson walked away dominant football. But Rob Gronkowski, to me, played 5 or 6 full seasons without injuries or anything like that. Rob Gronkowski is an undisputed, if you don't think he's the greatest tight end ever, he's second. That's how dominant the man was. He was the most illegally hit player you've ever seen. He was constantly held. He was the best offensive lineman that the Patriots had half the year. It's fine. And Rob Gronkowski deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, but you can't put Gronk in the Hall of Fame and not put everyone else that's going to have this situation occur in the Hall of Fame too. Rob Gronkowski is an undisputed Hall of Famer. Undisputed to me. He's absolutely in the Hall of Fame. He should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't even care if you put him in the first try. But you get guys like Terrell Owens, who played 15, 16 years in the league at a high level, come back from a broken fibula, and they're the best player in the Super Bowl, and you pettingly, or, hold on, how would I say that? High level, came back from the Super Bowl, best player on the planet, and you, being petty, didn't put him in the Hall of Fame twice. But Randy Moss, who was just as big of a headache for football, got in on the first try. You can no longer have this picking and choosing of situations. This is going to become a global thing. It's absolutely not going away. Jimmy Johnson's in the Hall of Fame. Jimmy Johnson stopped coaching early on. Early on.
Oh, yeah, we know why that happened.
Well, that's because Jerry Jones is Jerry Jones. I get it. I don't blame him. But I mean, he held on to Jason Garrett, and he let Jimmy Johnson go. It's fine.
Yes.
But
Jerry Jones' logic is really the one to go by.
it is what it is. But I, for the life of me, I don't understand how it could be so skewed. Jimmy Johnson deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Absolutely. I get it. There's a problem, though, with how this is operated. There's a problem. Joe Namath is in the Hall of Fame. You're going to tell me Andrew Luck's not a better quarterback than Joe Namath? Joe Namath is in the Hall of Fame because of his personality, and he was a megastar. He was not a great quarterback in the NFL.
Right, but also the influence for the AFL, too. That makes a difference. Nobody at that time thought an AFL team could even touch an NFL team. And what he did with the Jets in that Super Bowl, even though the game was low scoring, he played amazing against an NFL loaded Baltimore Colts team. Yep. But they were even loaded on defense too. They had a lot of good defensive players, especially with their pass rushers. And nobody even thought they could sniff an AFL team, an NFL team, and they did that.
Crosby had 4 points.
They did that. The Chiefs obviously beat the Vikings the next year in 1970. And it just opened the door for the rest of the AFL. The AFL is all the AFC East, all the AFC West, and the Bengals and the Oilers, which are now the Titans. So that's 10 teams right there that got influenced because of that. So
understood. But again, they pick and choose. But
I'm just saying it's not just skill based they do it on. It's also the influence too.
Right. And you don't think Andrew Luck's going to influence?
Now, if Andrew Luck,
it's not just luck. It's not just luck.
No,
there are other players that we've seen walk away early.
That's what I'm saying. If this actually does become a prominent trend, and there's more top players doing this, because it's not just the Hall of Fame. You still have to be a top player regardless. They're not.
Right. We're not denying Andrew Luck of, right?
No.
No one we've really seen walk away early is doing this.
I'm not saying it's even that. I'm saying they're not just going to let anyone in the Hall of Fame just because you played great for a short stretch of time, though.
Right.
Either.
Sure.
Now, Andrew Luck was dominant for the equivalent of 6 years. We had this discussion before in the summer when this conversation lasted 3 shows. But
more than that.
But if the players of that caliber, Patrick Willis was the best linebacker in football for 7 years.
Luke Kuechly now.
Luke Kuechly was the best linebacker in football for the last 5 years. So if it's players of that caliber retiring early and there's more of it, then they're make an exception later. Now, the other question is, if those trends do happen, when will they happen? Because eventually you're going to run out of eligibility time. I'm sure Patrick Willis has started already, and then Calvin Johnson is going to start the next year because they retired in consecutive seasons. So will they run out of eligibility is the question. And if that's the case, is the Hall of Fame going to be more of a leeway? And also, if there's more of them, will that create more of a leeway? Because it's going to make it harder for guys like that to go in. But if the trend is strong and is consistent, then it can happen.
I think Todd Gurley's going to retire soon.
but he's not a Hall of Famer.
No, he's not.
Regardless.
Now, right, I don't think so either. He was the best running back in football for a year. That was it. But, and then Saquon came in. I have to be honest with you. Oh, that's what Machine Gun Kelly said. Listen, I know that you've lost RA to Eminem last year. Don't debate me on Emmitt Smith being better than Barry Sanders. You're not going to do it, okay? Somebody tweet Machine Gun Kelly and tell him to stop because Machine Gun Kelly's out of his mind. First of all, the guy thinks he's a better rapper than Eminem, which makes him nuts. And then you add the fact that he thinks Emmitt Smith's better than Barry Sanders. Well, that's asinine.
At least he didn't say Ezekiel Elliott could run on Barry Sanders' offensive line.
No, he said that because Emmitt Smith always got back at least to the line of scrimmage. Barry Sanders was tackled most by the line of scrimmage, I think, more than anyone in NFL history, I think he said.
Yeah, okay. Give Barry Sanders, Nate Newton, and Larry Allen and see if that happens.
Well, Hall of Famer. Now, here we go about the Hall of Fame, right? As I play Flip the Cup by myself. I have to be honest. I think Luke Kuechly will get in. I do. I think Luke Kuechly should get in. I do. I
think depends on how the other ripple effect starts.
If Patrick Willis gets in, Luke Kuechly should get in.
Probably, but again, I think Patrick Willis, the gap between Patrick Willis and Luke Kuechly as a whole for their careers is still pretty significant where it could end up being just Willis, I'm just saying. But again, that whole ripple effect can be triggered if one guy gets in.
Write this number down. 1092.
So 1092.
Yeah.
Okay. What is that? The tackle numbers for Kuechly?
He played 7 years.
Because I know Willis had more. So because I think he had 100.
Patrick Willis had 950.
Oh really? Wow. I would have thought he had more. He had a couple seasons where he had 150 tackles. I would have thought that would have added up more.
He had 2. He had 152 and 174 his rookie year.
I thought but still, you would think with a bunch of 120-plus tackle seasons after that, you would think it would have.
And he missed more games than Luke Kuechly did.
That's interesting.
Yeah. No, like I said, if Patrick Willis gets in, Luke Kuechly needs to get it. And if Patrick Willis gets in and Calvin Johnson gets in, Andrew Luck will get in. And if Andrew Luck gets in, guess what that makes me? Right again!
All right, we'll come back. We'll see where this where the show is in 15 years when they allow this to happen.
I'm not saying first ballot, but
no, I didn't say that either. I'm just saying it's going to take a while to create a trend of that magnitude.
I mean, the trend's already starting.
It's starting. The key word is starting. It
started. It's
I know.
past tense. This isn't new. This is it's picking up steam.
That's new. 5
No,
years
Barry Sanders did it 20 years ago.
Barry Sanders was the exception to the rule at the time. Nobody did it constantly after Barry Sanders did it.
I'm trying to think. There are more. There definitely.
From 1997 to 2014, there wasn't a lot of surprise retirements.
Borland retired before 2014.
Borland was the same year as Willis. They retired the same year.
Did they?
Yep. They played together. And
yes,
Borland,
I know that.
Yeah,
I thought Borland retired and then Willis went back.
No, Borland played 1 year and then with Willis, and they both retired at the same time.
Damn. That's crazy.
And Borland only got to play that year because Bowman had the ACL tear or the Achilles tear in the playoff game.
Now, as good as that Raven defense was, let's just think about how great Aldon Smith, Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, and Chris Borland could have been.
Well, Borland would never played if Bowman was playing, though. Keep that in mind.
Why? They have 3-4. They would have had 3-4.
They had Ahmad Brooks there, too.
No, and Ahmad Brooks.
And Ahmad Brooks he stayed pretty healthy throughout his career.
And they had an elite corner, too.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
No, that was the one thing they were missing. They had Dante Whitner was a good safety, and Eric Reed was the other safety. But corner, they tried bringing Asamoah. It didn't work.
No.
They tried. Well, Nate Clemens retired by then, so it wasn't him. I don't know who you were thinking of. They definitely did not have a corner that was really that good on that roster. Unless it was just a guy you liked more than other people.
That's possible. trying to think of the year they went to the Super Bowl.
2012. And then that defense again continued into 13, but I think Terrell Brown was one corner and Tremaine Brock was the other, but none of them were that good. At best, they were average.
No, I know what it was.
Was it Clements and he left by then? Is that what you're thinking of?
No.
Because he was good.
Yeah, that's not who I was thinking of. I liked Chris Culver.
Yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't that good.
No, he wasn't. He was good the year that I remember him.
He might have
4 picks.
played well in a maybe short stretch of time, but he wasn't good all year.
Home stretch. No, but you're right. They had a lot more safety and linebacker depth.
Yeah, that was the strength of their team. Their front three even wasn't that good. It was just Justin Smith really was it. Their DT wasn't good, and I don't even remember who their other end was. It was Justin Smith and great linebackers. And then they brought in Whitner, I think, as a free agent that year or the year before or something like that.
Look at that. Colin Kaepernick was starting over Alex Smith. What a mistake.
They went to a Super Bowl, but okay.
They would have won the Super Bowl had Alex Smith played.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And that's the Redskins.
Yeah, but the ball control offense, would that have worked against another high-powered offensive team? I don't know. The Packers were not a good team at stopping the run, and Kaepernick exposed that.
Did I tell you Crosby had 4 points?
Did he get a goal this time, or is it all assists?
And a goal and 3 assists. 7-3.
Wow.
Yeah. Look out. I almost just bugged out. I thought Rick Nash came out of retirement.
No, it's probably Riley Nash.
But so real quick, since we're on the football topic, most importantly, I want to say thank you to Luke Kuechly because he wasn't afraid to say I'm retiring. I'm done. In short-sightedness, I think we can both agree that this hurts the Carolina Panthers a lot.
Absolutely.
This is a big loss for them. This team, I don't want to overreact, but you need to understand that this team is kind of holding on by the seams as it is. Now you're gaining a new coach. You're going to be gaining a new quarterback. Outside of Christian McCaffrey, because he's the man, and Luke Kuechly, I would have traded everybody else. Now that Luke Kuechly is retiring, it's kind of like time to rebuild, no? Tear it down, start over?
They've done that to some extent. They had a lot of shedding of the roster from their Super Bowl team in 2015. They got rid of Norman, obviously. They traded a lot of their older pass rushers. And they have kind of gotten younger in that area. The only thing they really got older with is their interior defensive line and a couple offensive line pieces. But everything else, they really have been young. Remember, they shedded away those receivers. Now they have Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore. Greg Olsen.
He will probably retire soon.
Right. Greg Olsen, they've had emergency plans with young tight ends for years because of all his injuries. So they still have already been doing that to a sense. That what they need to do is really just draft a little better in the areas that they've needed for a long time. And that's
they did a great job with getting Byron Burns.
Right, that's fine. But again, that's one pick out of a 4-year span of a draft. Christian McCaffrey, they obviously hit on, and I would say
I like Moore.
Yeah, but he's like a 2. I don't know if he's really a 1.
No, that's fine, but I don't think he's a bad football player. They hit on Cam.
No, I'm talking about the last 5 years.
Okay.
Or 4 years after their Super Bowl team that lost to Denver. They had 4 drafts after that. They hit on McCaffrey, and then Brian Burns. He's looking like a nice player.
Trey Turner.
He wasn't those drafts. He was there before that.
How old is Trey Turner?
I think he's 30 now.
Really? I would trade him too.
Oh, no, he's still young. Never mind. No, he's 26.
No, I was going to say.
I thought he was older. Okay. He was the 2014 draft. Okay. Wow.
I was about to say.
I thought he
what
was.
What are you talking about?
I thought he was the 2012 draft or something like that. Okay. I thought he was older by now. All right.
Doofus.
All right, so he's actually still young.
Shaq Thompson.
Shaq Thompson's still
I would
young.
trade him.
And you're going to leave yourself with nothing with linebackers? You want to have something.
Yeah, but
You wanna have
honestly,
something.
let Byron
Are they,
Burns.
are they that far away where you're trying to purge all these assets?
I think now, yeah. You got to remember, they're not going as constituted into this next season. You don't know what Matt Rule's bringing. You don't know who his quarterback is. You know Christian McCaffrey is going to be a thing, but let's just be honest here. McCaffrey's not doing this again next year. It's only been done 2 other times in the league history, right? So
That's fair.
he's not going to be the team again next year. Gerald McCoy, I would move that as quickly as possible. He didn't look great at all.
I mean, if you get good value, okay, but it's one of those things where you still don't want to sell short for talented players.
No, it's not. But you also have to realize you are in a division. Tampa Bay is not as far away as people think.
No, they're good.
And Atlanta will not be bad next year. Atlanta had a
Mental lapse.
I don't know what it was, but Atlanta turned it on the last 5 weeks. Atlanta played better to save Dan Quinn's job. Point blank, period. They're going to be good next year. Julio Jones ain't coming out saying Matt Ryan's our guy for the next 5 years because he wants, this team is falling apart at the seams. They're like, yo, we're going to be fine. Matt Ryan's the guy.
Now, again, going back to the Panthers, though, with Rule, I think the reason he was hired, though, is to work with the college-type offense they have. They changed a lot from what they were in 2015. They drafted smaller, scat-back, faster-type receivers, and obviously McCaffrey. And that's what they're working with now. I don't know how that really correlates with the defense, really. They could draft a quarterback, okay, but they might have done that anyway, regardless if they make a trade or not. The defense they kind of need to keep intact just so it's not on the field all the time, and so the offense can actually get some time. Because otherwise it's not going to grow. Now, obviously, Kuechly is the best player on the defense by far, but still, I think you have pieces there that are still good. I don't think it's Luke Kuechly. I don't think Luke Kuechly was Khalil Mack on the 2014 Raiders. They still have talent on that defense. And besides McCoy, it's really not that old.
No, Eric Reed. Eric Reed's a phenomenal safety. I love Eric Reed. Thompson.
26.
Andre Smith, they like. Bruce Irvin's young. No, he's not. Hold on.
No, Bruce Irvin's older. He's older. But even if they did trade him, I don't know how much they would get for him. So he might be better off just keeping at least
But honestly, if you
at
have
worst, maybe his
you
depth.
really need. They went 5-11 this year. Okay, so they're gonna get the Redskins, Lions, Cardinals. I don't
One of the
know.
DTs they could trade. I agree with you on that, just because they have 3 great ones. So that one of them they could trade. I'm just saying I wouldn't trade Thompson because then what are you left with at linebacker?
108-76. The Bucs are over the Knicks.
Okay, that doesn't last long. That was a nice 6
Giannis
point.
has 37.
It was a nice 6-point deficit.
But so real quick, Speedy. So I want to, obviously send Luke Kuechly a bunch of support for his decision to retire early. I'm sure it's a decision but also let's not act like this wasn't. This is relatively fresh. They were playing football 3 weeks ago. You think so?
What? Oh, I think that's what you wanted.
No, it's fine. Yeah. You know what? I think you've hit it. Did we induct Andrew Luck?
Yeah, we did. That's
Did
right.
we induct Patrick Willis?
I believe so.
Well, did we induct Gronk?
I don't think so, but
All right, well.
that's because you always think he's going to come back, so
That's true.
I
All
don't
right.
think we actually did anything.
Well,
but
Luke Kuechly retired about 15 minutes ago, so he will be the first member. Well, his first induction into a Hall of Fame will be this one, the Homestretch Hall of Fame.
first one of the new decade.
Yeah, the first one of this decade, century, whatever. Luke Kuechly of the Carolina Panthers, along with Patrick Willis and Rob Gronkowski, because I don't remember if I inducted you or not, but you all deserve to be.
I'm pretty sure you did Willis. Again, Gronk, you always said was going to come back forever, so I don't think we ever did one for him.
But I still say he's coming back this year. Still do. I think that itch is there. And I think Brady's going to make it worse. I think he's going to badger him this offseason. But, yes, Luke Kuechly will be the first inductment of 2020 in the Home Stretch Hall of Fame, or the NFL part of the Hall of Fame. We have other sports, too, that will be inducted. But I want to thank Luke Kuechly for 8 years of amazing football, and hopefully you get rewarded down the road. To be quite honest with you, don't be surprised if he doesn't get an ESPN job. He's
maybe, but he's more
pretty
of a quiet.
intellectual.
He's more of a quiet guy though, so I don't know.
Yeah, so is Jason Witten, but
Would
they
he want
still
an
hired him.
analyst job? Yeah, but he was a little more fiery, I think, than Kuechly was when he was on the
Kuechly's
field.
nuts. But I've heard him do pre-game speeches. He's pretty good. Yeah. So I mean, we're just gonna end the show now with recapping the NFL wildcard weekend. And Speedy, I'll let you host the segment because my head hurts from screaming at the Houston Astros so much.
In over 200 countries.
Oh, well, that's 200 countries of what?
Stream games with.
All I know is Iran better leave us alone. Or you're going to be running from Trump. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now a different thing played.
No.
Here we are. All right. Finally got the music up. So the first game you were right about, the San Francisco 49ers 27-10 over the Minnesota Vikings.
Dominated. Oh, Antonio Gates retired today, too. That's right. Yeah, you're inducted, too, Antonio Gates. Tomorrow we're going to go over the Josh Donaldson signing. I know Errol Marks broke it because of me, but we'll talk about baseball tomorrow. The Josh Donaldson thing.
So everything breaks before your show.
Yeah, right. Or during. That's great. I wonder how Guido feels now. Damn, I gotta wait 24 hours to talk about this. Damn it. Doofus. Anyway, Jimmy G. The people are calling him a game manager. Stop the nonsense. He's not a game manager. He makes the smart, intelligent throw like, I don't know, Tom Brady did when he first started. You gotta understand, Jimmy Garoppolo's a first-year full-time starter this year. Like that, he's still got growing to do. I know he's older than most rookies in the league, but he's relatively new in starting. It wasn't even me bashing the Vikings because I know that's where Speedy likes to go with these things.
Oh, yeah.
But to be quite honest with you, it just seemed like the Vikings were going to win a game, if that, and then drop out. And I would have had that penciled in for anybody. To be quite honest with you, the only team I would have had San Francisco losing to was the Saints. That's it. It didn't matter who it was. And the Saints would have went to Green Bay and won anyway, but we'll get to that contraption in a second. San Francisco, that front seven is lethal. They were finally healthy. Quan Alexander, D. Ford came back. Nick Bosa was all over the place. DeForest Buckner, Armstead. And
Armstead was the best player in that game.
Oh, he was amazing. That front seven, when fully healthy, is the best in football, and you saw it. That secondary, I know you had questions about it early on. My whole point to you was it didn't matter. Tart is going to be good enough. All these young kids are going to be good enough. And by the way, Pro Bowl Richard Sherman came out of this. So it's all right. The San Francisco 49ers are the best team in football left. And I'm not saying that because there's four. I'm saying that because when the season ended, that's who the best team in football was all year long. I said they were going to triple their win total, and goddamn, they might quadruple it. But amazing game for the Niners. The Vikings had a great season. You know, I hate to say this. Kirk Cousins' contract is up after next year, right? No, I'm serious.
Yeah, it is.
You might want to draft a quarterback this year. You might want to draft a young quarterback in this draft and not lose all the pieces you have because you're not far away. You're really not. You just need either a better game plan or, to be honest with you, I don't think your loss of Kevin Sikorsky means that much.
No.
I don't think it means anything, actually. I think the Browns screwed up that hire completely. But, hey, it is what it is. But a great season for the Vikings. The 49ers deserved the win, and they dominated that football game like I suspected. My score was actually really close. What I have, 34-17?
I think you had 34-17, yeah.
And it was what, 24-17?
It was 27-10.
Oh,
so
I was close.
It was a little more low scoring, but yeah, you were pretty close. Yeah, I think this is the biggest domination was that defensive line. I think
And that offensive line
I
stinks.
said the Vikings just need average level protection and they could do stuff, and they didn't get that at all. They got nothing. Dalvin Cook got nothing when he was running. He was trying to make 3-yard runs with running for his life all the time.
Right.
That's how bad that blocking was all
And
game.
Kirk Cousins had no time to do
Kirk
nothing.
Cousins had no time.
He dropped back and fell.
I think Stefanski didn't help either. There were a lot of predictable play calling, I thought, in the first half. A lot of out routes
Well,
constantly.
the first half the game was close. They got blown
right,
out. In the
but I
second.
think I know that, but I think that really showed that the Niners defense could dial in on certain things. Not taking anything away from Saleh, because I think he's a great defensive coordinator
Should be a
too.
head coach.
I thought he should have been. I wanted him for the Giants if they didn't get Bieniemy. If they wanted a defensive guy, I wanted Saleh. But
The Giants just announced their defense before this.
no, I know, but I mean. If
It's
they were
not
going
Bieniemy, though.
no, I'm saying Eric Bieniemy was my number one choice for head coach.
Are you happy with defensive coordinator?
No, I'm saying if they
But are you
wanted,
happy in general?
I don't know, but if they wanted a defensive guy to be their head coach, is what I'm saying. I would have loved to have Robert Saleh. But my point is, Stefanski didn't help by calling way too many running back screens. I think too many out routes, and that really helped to get predictable at that point, where they didn't really open up a lot. The touchdown they got was a straight streak route. It wasn't really anything sophisticated that he called. And honestly, it wasn't really that bad of a play by the defender. He played a good throw, and it was a wobbly throw because Cousins got hit. But that was really the only mistake they made. The Niners defense dominated the rest of the game. Offensively, they weren't amazing, I don't think. I don't think Garoppolo played great, but you're right. He did enough smart throws. I think the receivers actually played well beyond my expectations. Smaller receivers made a lot of good catches in traffic, and I think that was a big key. And I did say the Vikings would try to take out Kittle. They did a great job taking out Kittle in that game, but the other receivers stepped up, and that was big for them. And that ended up being a difference in that second half. And then they were eventually just able to run after that. So, yeah, those are my takeaways. You were right, the Niners beating up on the Vikings. So now let's go to the 6th seed you got right. I was right about the defense. I didn't expect the offense to come through for this team. The Tennessee Titans 28, the Baltimore Ravens 12.
I'll accept your apology.
You were right. I did not expect the Titans offense to do that well. I was right about the defense, though.
I mean, Ryan Tannehill is like this starter for the next 4 or 5 years in Tennessee.
This game didn't really prove that. He threw one nice pass.
No, not that. I'm just saying his game fits there very well, and I don't think you can blow this team up. Derrick Henry's going to get mega paid.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry is a better running back than Lamar Jackson. That's really what that game boiled down to.
And a better quarterback.
Yeah. I wasn't even going to go there, but yeah.
Just as many touchdown passes.
In all honesty, the Baltimore Raven defense got tired like I thought they would, and the truth of the matter is Lamar Jackson all year didn't win a game with his arm, and he had to on Saturday.
Yep.
And he struggled. He did. He didn't look comfortable. He didn't look good. And to be quite honest with you, I get his career is young, okay? He struggled in college with the big game. He struggled. He looked awful against the Chargers last year. And he looked very flustered this year. I get that he's young. I'm not saying to give up on him. I'm not saying the Ravens are in trouble. But you need him. I don't know how you're going to fix his ball handling. I have no idea. His hands are too small. That's a problem. He needs to improve throwing the football. That's what he needs. This league is not going to be this razzle-dazzle fun stuff. It's fun in games until you get smacked in the mouth, is what they say, right? The Tennessee Titans went into Baltimore and punched the Ravens right in the mouth. That's never happened in years. The Ravens got out-Ravened. It really, I'm surprised it worked as well. I thought the game would be closer. The Titans dominated that football game. The game wasn't even close. The game was a bigger blowout than the score indicated. Lamar Jackson was moving the ball in garbage time. That's the only reason his stats look good. That's the only reason he looks good in stats. That was garbage time stats. The Ravens were dominated at home. Justin Tucker was their best player. John Harbaugh needs to take a vacation and get back to this. But the Ravens are another team not far away. They were amazing this year. But again, they were one-dimensional. I thought it would bite them in the ass, and it did. I'm sorry I was right, but I was right.
You're sorry you were right.
I'm not sorry. No, I'm not.
You're not sorry.
I'm not sorry.
Yeah, they did. The defense, I think, really was the big thing in this game. I knew the Titans had the identity defensively with the outside rushers. And also, again, even with Jayon Brown out, they got a lot of good contain in the middle. They used both the Dory Jackson. They also used Byard. They used different safety rotations. Amani Hooker sometimes came up and played the spy role. They had different guys of the DBs, and that's something they took from the Chargers. And I'm props to Mike Vrabel for that, Dean Pease as well.
Mike Vrabel's I remember when everyone laughed at me when I said Mike Vrabel was going to be a good coach. He's an amazing coach.
Yes, he is.
He's amazing.
He's done a very good job, and Dean Pease, give him credit too. He knows a lot of the tendencies of the Ravens, what they like to do, and he took advantage of that with his defense. And again, when Dean Pease was brought in, they had a very similar type defense to what the Steelers had for a while, which again was similar to the Ravens. But again, he did his own modifications. Obviously, Vrabel did his own modifications to build it kind of like the Patriots defense, and that whole combination, that whole three minds from Dick LeBeau, what he brought to Pease, and now to Vrabel, it worked to really create a great defense to match up well against different types of offenses. They did it to the Patriots, which are a very different type of offense than the Ravens. But the Ravens did in this game, containing Lamar Jackson, not letting him run, not letting him do the RPOs, trying to make him make more complicated throws. Their pass rush was very good, but it was mainly the contain. I really thought that was great. And who would have thought we'd be saying this? The Kamale Correa revenge game, former Raven linebacker, who played a lot more than usual in that game, played very well too.
Probably knew everything.
I loved him as a prospect. I'm surprised he didn't work over there at the Ravens, but he played a great game in that one.
I think they didn't work. They just have so many linebackers they couldn't keep.
No, I know that, and they drafted more the year after too. Which again, they were trying to prepare for Dumerville and Suggs being gone, and obviously there was just no room. But defensively, they were great.
You know what? I think Terrell Suggs could have helped them a lot.
They could have. He definitely could have.
I think he would have improved.
He could have, but I don't think the problem was really the outside guys for the Ravens. I think the problem was the inside guys for the Ravens when you look at their defense. Moving to the Titans offense now, Derrick Henry is actually being stopped for the most part outside in the beginning of the game, and it was really
pushed Earl Thomas on his ass
until he really dominated inside, and that's where I thought the Ravens actually had an advantage with their size, their three defensive linemen, and a Titans offensive line that's better on the outside and lost two of their guys in the middle. Josh Clyde went to Minnesota and Quentin Spain went to Buffalo. So I thought they might have gotten exposed there. Ben Jones, the center, played a great game, and Saffold played a nice game.
Hey, you know who drafted Ben Jones?
The Giants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
He's better than
He's better than every offensive lineman they've had in the last, 7 years.
No, Kevin Zeitler's better than him.
All right, besides Kevin Zeitler, who they just traded for.
Okay. Fair enough.
But, yeah.
Would you rather have him or Eric Flowers?
What?
Would you rather have Ben Jones back or Eric Flowers back?
Easily Ben Jones.
Okay.
That's not close. So he played really well in that game. Again, Tannehill had that one nice throw at the beginning. I think that really was
Jonnu Smith. That was a perfect throw.
Was a spark plug. Even the touchdown after that, Khalif Raymond. That was a beautiful route too.
That kid's a speed demon too.
And he was just a special teams guy. He actually was with the Giants 2 years ago as a punt returner. He's not really that much of a receiver, but
apparently so.
The last month of the season, he really started to gel when Humphreys was hurt, and Tannehill really just started to break in and become the quarterback he's been in. That was the guy that beat him. So he made just enough throws. Obviously, statistically, he wasn't dominated, but Derrick Henry did the rest, and the defense, I really think, just did a great job game planning, execution, and the key thing here, this is where Vrabel's Patriots mindset comes in. They were very patient. They didn't over-pursue anything. You had a lot of guys that
do your job,
that had one role, and they were brought in for one role, and they did just that. They didn't over-pursue anything. They made Lamar Jackson overthink, and I think that was the biggest thing that hurt them. Mm-hmm. All right, so Texans and Chiefs. Texans had a 24-0 lead, and then they lost 51-7.
Yeah.
What are your takeaways?
I'm surprised. I'm not surprised it's a blowout. I was surprised that the blowout happened later than I thought. I was surprised the Texans were up 24-0, but I got to be honest with you. The 51-7 run didn't surprise me at all. That was the game I expected Pat Mahomes to wake up. The offensive line for the Texans have been bad all year. It was bad. It's been bad. It's awful. Even Tunsil looks awful. But, Nick Martin's improved, I guess you could say, right? That's the biggest takeaway of the year. Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins was a nobody in that game to me.
He was good in the first half, but again,
when
the Chiefs had a more comfortable lead, they had more freedom to take him away.
They take him away. I remember seeing him catch one pass in the second half, and he fell 5 yards after he caught it.
Well, that's also on the offensive play calling, too.
No, he fell because he had the ball and he didn't want to get hit, so he just kind of dove.
Oh, okay, that's because he had a rib injury. I guess he didn't want to get knocked out or something like that.
I didn't know he was playing hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. The Houston Texans, I've doubted them all year. The offensive line, to me, is a problem. More importantly, though, Deshaun Watson can't keep getting hit. He can't. I'm sorry. He's your future quarterback for the next 10 years. You need to protect him. You need to. If you lose him, your team will be awful. And to be honest with you, J.J. Watt needs to leave. He needs to go to a better organization that's going to give him a chance to win to me. J.J. Watt came back from a pectoral injury.
Yep.
He tore his pec. And he was the most dominant pass rusher they had. I mean, goddamn. He was the only one I even saw sniffing Pat Mahomes. But, the biggest takeaway is Andy Reid was Andy Reid. He got them where they needed to go. And Pat Mahomes was amazing. Amazing. And this is what I keep saying. You were telling me last year it was Pat Mahomes, then it was Lamar Jackson. Pat Mahomes is a mobile quarterback that beats you with his arms first. His arm is why the Chiefs win football games. That's why the Chiefs, to me, were the biggest threat to the Patriots, but also just a very scary out. The AFC Championship set, we'll go over that later, but I gotta be honest with you, the Chiefs impressed me a lot. I don't think the defense is that good, but I do think they play very well.
Their pass defense is good, though. Top 10.
The Honey Badgers. The Honey Badgers' performance on Sunday was amazing.
Honey Badger, Breland, and Fuller. Even Daniel Soros said he played well. That's if you could get him.
He has less responsibility now.
No, I know that, but
he's literally just there to stop the run.
I know that, but even you're going to get him to play that well. That's really saying something about your defense.
Can I just ask a question? Why didn't you bring back Eric? Why am I drawing a blank?
Eric Berry, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, why not let him be a part of this run?
I don't know. Maybe he's still hurt. We don't realize that.
So what? Put him on the roster out of respect. He was your best player for years.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think you hit it mostly. I think the offensive line is still a problem for the Texans. And you could tell the Chiefs are really never out of it, even when they were down 24-0. It was a lot of flukiness. Just special teams blunders, short fields, anything like that. So it wasn't like the Texans were outplaying the Chiefs that drastically, where you knew the Chiefs couldn't come back. I think the guy, when you look at who to blame the most, I think Romeo Crennel definitely deserved a lot of it. This is a matchup I never understood why they were doing. Why is your fourth string rookie corner in Lonnie Johnson man-to-man on Travis Kelce? I never understood that. Yeah, but Travis Kelce's size advantage has to be at least 60 pounds, and height-wise, probably...
I don't know why they didn't have Zach Cunningham.
At least 4 inches. Right. When you have Zach Cunningham or Bernardrick McKinney or even Justin Reed or even a combination of all of them, Travis Kelce's dominating you that much, and you never try to adjust. Okay, they put... I think they put Conley on it a couple times. Bigger corner, okay. They tried that once. I think they tried Reed, but they never made the full-time adjustment when Travis Kelce was going off at that point. And they did a nice job taking away Hill. I'll give them credit for that. Tyreek Hill was not a huge factor.
I think Tyreek Hill's hurt still.
But still, the fact that they couldn't game plan at that point for Kelce when Kelce was just dominating, make them change. Coaching is all about make them make the adjustment. You make a good adjustment, make them make adjustment they might not be comfortable with. And as a result, that just opened everything else up. Damian Williams then got going. Sammy Watkins got going in the second half. And obviously Patrick Mahomes just played amazing the whole game. So that's what I look at with the Texans. You can't do that at all. You have not a lot of talent on the defense, but you have good enough talent where you should be able to put up a better fight defensively than you did. And then Watson and Hopkins is just all they have left on that offense, so the talent really showed. He played great. Hopkins, I think, played well. You're right, he got contained kind of in the second half, but again, I think the Chiefs really tried to take him out. They had no run game and just no offensive line after that. And Bill O'Brien, what are you doing on these fourth downs? That was very weird, too. You should go for it up 21-0 on 4th and 1, yet you do a fake punt in your own territory on 4th and 5. Very bizarre. All right, last but not least, the Seattle Seahawks and the Green Bay Packers. The Packers had a big lead, 28-10. Seahawks with a ferocious comeback, but the Packers hold on to win 28-23.
Screwed. And he was short, okay? But I'm not even going to go to that. The last play of the first half, Russell Wilson got knocked on his ass. Not a play,
you're right.
not
I was thinking to call that too.
That to me is the most concerning thing. So they're making a big deal about this replay booth, right? Oh, well, we won't let a big call happen again. So the guy was short. It was clearly shown short. His shoulder, his helmet wasn't even at the first down marker, but yet the ball somehow passed the first down marker.
Well, they did show the TV line not being accurate either, though, later.
No, but there's another photo where you can see where the TV line
the
was.
The other photo that actually showed the pylon with the kind of the backside angle, I thought he looked short based on where his elbow was and where the ball probably was pointing, but you couldn't really tell either, so it was tough to tell even from that.
But they gave him a yard extra anyway.
I thought he was short too, but again, from that angle, and once I saw that the line was moved, it wasn't definitive where they could have definitively overturned it at that point.
I thought it was definitive.
I thought he was short too, I'll be honest. I once I saw that other replay, though, without the TV line, you could see why they made it a first down at that point.
That's fine. And my biggest takeaway from this game is that Russell Wilson's really the MVP of football. He did everything for that team. Everything. I mean, God damn it. You lose Penny, you lose Carsons, you bring in Turbin, he got hurt. Then you bring in Marshawn Lynch, who literally could only be a goal line guy. The team was literally preparing for Russell Wilson to throw the ball. Russell Wilson, he was the most dominant player on the football field. He had an amazing football game. The Seahawks, I think he got screwed, but, you know, it is what it is. An amazing job. There was another call in that game, too, I couldn't stand.
The Clowney one? The one that was a face mask? But I didn't think it was a face mask either.
Yeah,
There were a couple pass interferences, though, that I thought the Seahawks should, or the Packers did get called for that I thought they shouldn't have either, though. So I think that kind of canceled out in a sense. But definitely the big one was the short one, which I think we agree it was short.
Not only that, the big one to me is the pass interference. That would have put them in field goal range. Now, I know they lost by 5.
Right.
But that changes the second half.
Yeah,
the whole
maybe.
second half.
Maybe
they even get a touchdown. Who the hell knows?
You still have to hope that the kicker makes it, too, because it still would have been a
48-yard field goal?
Yeah, it still would have been a longer field goal, so that might have been tough.
He's not a bad kicker. I would.
He had a bad year, though, Myers.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know.
All right.
So, yeah, it's definitely interesting with that. But in terms of the actual game, I think the one thing I took away from it is that Matt LaFleur, I think, did a really nice job at moving Davante Adams around. Shaquille Griffin had a great year for Seattle. And
he's an amazing young quarterback.
You would have thought that he would have been shadowing Adams the whole game. That was not the case, and it was because LaFleur did a nice job moving to the slot at times, moving to the left at times. And I think that really made a big difference in that game. Their other receivers weren't amazing, but they still had some big catches. Aaron Rodgers, I think, did a nice job not just force-feeding Adams in the second half to get some other offense going, but it was mainly Davante Adams. It was mainly Davante Adams that dominated that game. Seahawks did a nice job on Aaron Jones, and like you said, Russell Wilson, I think, really did play well. I'm surprised Tyler Lockett played as well as he did, too. Because I thought that would have been a matchup advantage for Green Bay, but Russell Wilson did a lot of that too in terms of play extending and hitting into that. And I think that the other big takeaway I have too is the Seahawks significant offensive injuries were exactly what they couldn't have in this particular matchup. Chris Carson, inside runner type. Your best tight end was Will Dissly. He got hurt earlier in the season. Those are the two matchups you really thought they could have exposed Green Bay with because they're not great over the middle of the field. Their defensive ends in the 3-4 defense aren't that good. So they really had to try to play uncomfortably against the Packers' strengths, and it was just really hard to do. Russell Wilson, like you said, did all he could, but that was just not enough against a team that talented.
Real quick, this is the stat that I want everyone to pay attention to, all you quarterback-driven league guys, right? Aaron Rodgers was sacked twice for 8 yards. Russell Wilson was sacked 5 times.
Well, again, outside rushing defense against a mobile quarterback that
Justin
favors
Britt's
the outside.
Their only offensive lineman worth a damn.
That generally favors the defense when you have that structure of a defense.
That's fine. You were missing your 2 tackles, your 2 best tackles, probably. And honestly, I know you just praised the crap out of Aaron Rodgers. To me, he looked, again, very average. He
played better than average.
He didn't wow me. His play extending fine. He made a couple of vintage Aaron Rodgers plays.
He did.
He's not the same guy. He's not Aaron Rodgers. Oh, he's going to lead us down the field and win the football.
That's because it's a different team. It's not the same Aaron Rodgers team. What you were saying about Russell Wilson is what Aaron Rodgers had to be in 2016 when they had to come back when they were 4-6 and everyone wanted McCarthy fired. They went all the way to the NFC Championship game. It wasn't that Aaron Rodgers anymore. It wasn't a passing game with a banged-up offensive line and no running game and a banged-up defense. What Russell Wilson did in this game and what he had to do, and he did a very good job, was what Aaron Rodgers was in 2016 and several other years before that too, 2013 when he came back from the injury. Just certain years like that. It's not that kind of team anymore. They have a running game. They have a better defense now. They have a coach that will utilize the running backs out of the backfield. They'll have a coach that uses their tight ends. It's a different type of team. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is necessarily worse. I just think he's just different in terms of the way the team is operating. But he still played well, though.
I guess we'll find out next week.
Yes, we will.
I'll tell you one thing, though. I don't think this championship game is going to be pretty. I don't. I think you're going to see a couple of young guys in the Super Bowl.
There's always young guys in the Super Bowl. It's just a matter of
young quarterbacks, asshole. But yeah, we got a lot to get to tomorrow. But Speedy, we're in the end game now, buddy. How was your weekend?
It was good. Just relaxing. Watched a lot of football. Ate a lot of greasy food, pretty much.
Tell them where they can find us.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, on our website at worldwidesportsradio.com. And we are one of only
16
sports radio networks and podcasts on radio.com.
16. Yeah, a lot to get to tomorrow. Again, the breaking news of Luke Kuechly's retirement, the Astros World Series ban, the Red Sox firing Alex Cora. A lot of sports. CC actually just said the Yankees were screwed in 2017, which rightfully so. Probably would have saved Joe Girardi's job. But I digress.
Of course, the Astros cheating somehow brings it back to
It's
Aaron
getting
Boone.
frustrating to sit here and know that late in my career I could have had a title. And actually, a report came out 3 hours ago that Major League teams are unhappy with the Astros punishment too.
It was, yeah. It probably could have been more harsh. I don't think it could have been that more harsh, though. I don't think it was unreasonable. It could have been a little more, I think, with the money and with the picks, though.
I was suspended a lot of people. I would have taken everything. I would have made you think I was a Kardashian divorce, is what I would have done. I would have made Major League Baseball one of the Kardashians, and the Astros would have been one of their athletes. You would have, oh my God, the amount of money I would have taken from them and there would be no assets left. There'd be none. I would make the Kardashians look like freaking gold. I would have been a gold digger. I would have taken everything. You would have been gone. the Astros might have lost their right to play baseball.
Wow.
I would have nipped that right in the ass.
Bam. You don't want the owner to sell the team. Interesting.
No, the owner is to blame because you can't tell me he didn't know. He knew.
Right.
But he's not there enough to penalize. You know what I mean? Like,
That's fair, but you got to remember an investigation isn't just one instance either.
no, right, correct.
It's a whole
so
facilitation.
right.
And there was evidence
Right,
found
right.
in the
Right.
press boxes and the Astros
Don't be fooled. The Red Sox penalty.
facilities.
The Red Sox penalty will be coming out shortly. That thing's gonna be. Oh man, do I feel bad for the Red Sox? And this could spar them to trade Mookie Betts. Don't be surprised. Do not be surprised. They lost their manager. Oh, you know what? We just lost all that money, and we gotta pay Mookie Betts next offseason. Nope. Goodbye. This could spur Mookie Betts to get traded. Nolan Arenado's going to get traded any day.
If you're a selling team, though, maybe you say, "Ooh, might we be able to get him for more of a discount as this goes on and on?"
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
The Dodgers right now are salivating.
The Dodgers,
Mookie Betts? Okay.
I think, are going to be salivating. I think in season. I don't know if they'll do it now. I think they might try to wait and try to get a steal from it.
Yeah, but Mookie Betts has a better first half than he had last year. You're not getting a steal. You're paying more.
You would hope if you're this new GM that you could get it, but you say it all the time.
Who would even be if you're the Boston Red Sox right now? Who do you even bring in to fix this? Nobody. Because Mike Scioscia's the only guy I think of, and he retired.
Yeah, it's not going to be anybody experienced at this point. You have to take a
I would trade Aaron Boone for Mookie Betts right now.
Mookie Betts be your manager.
No, Mookie Betts will play, and I'll make Brett Gardner manager.
So Brett Gardner manager, Mookie Betts on the active roster.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that'll cost you pretty much every prospect you have and maybe a current player. All
No,
right.
Aaron Boone straight up. You love him. He's a genius, so take him.
I love him. When did I say that?
Well, I don't know.
I said he was good. I didn't say I loved him.
Anyway, what was I going to say just now? We're in the end game now. Speedy, say your goodbyes.
Thanks for listening, and have a glorious night.
Do I need to keep commenting how you do Burn? Do I need to keep commenting on how good you do that, or you figured out now?
I think
that
it's
I'm
just
proud?
so consistent now that
Yes.
it's not even something you have to reiterate.
Good. We'll be back tomorrow and Thursday and Friday. Now, the problem is I have an hour Wednesday and an hour Thursday. Around the World of Sports takes me about 5 minutes, so I got 45 minutes. I got a break. That's about a half hour. I'm probably just going to do something wacky tomorrow. I don't know. You got time to make playhouses?
I still have the ones from last week that we didn't use.
You told me you didn't do them.
I told him I didn't do them on Wednesday. I made them on Thursday.
Guess what we're doing tomorrow? Do you have them still?
Yeah.
Great. Tomorrow we'll do them playhouses. Haha, New Year, same crap. I'm not changing. No, I'm just kidding. So, yeah, Wednesday we'll do that. Thursday, I'll probably talk about whatever happens on Wednesday. Luke Kuechly's retirement, though, is going to be interesting because there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes out about this. But, yeah, I guess we'll see Luke Kuechly in Canton.
If the trend
Yeah,
will
if
help.
the trend continues.
You
I
need the
guess we'll
trend
have
to
to
happen
wait
a
and
lot
see.
longer than the 5 years, though.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I swear, I make this up on the spot. Nothing's ever written down. I'm just that good. I'm too good at this now. Say it again.
What, the Kuechly thing?
If the trend continues.
The trend will have to continue longer for Kuechly to get into the Hall of Fame, so...
I guess we'll just have to wait and see ya!
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.